Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider here on the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden. It is episode number 26. And we welcome you to the EKN Radio Network. Hopefully, you've downloaded the app to your mobile device and can pick up our live 24/7, 365 streaming karting radio network anywhere you go. Of course, these podcasts always awesome for the morning commute or your drive home. So this edition of The Insider, one of my good friends. In fact, I'll talk about it a little bit later on, but we're going Rock Island Grand Prix, and we've got Roger Ruthhart with us. Roger, thank you so much for joining me here on the EKN Radio Network, another edition of The Rock, just a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, we're excited. We're at the point now, we just hang on.
I was going to say, we these industry insiders, we use them a lot, Roger, to talk to people, promoters. We had Terry Trader on. We had Mike Burrell on. We've had guys that put the races on: Greg Jasperson, Tom Kutcher, Garrett Potter, Andy Saisman. This is a good opportunity for us to talk to promoters and see what's going on. This is a big one for you guys, and again, we'll go into it later on how core the Rock Island Grand Prix has been for me. As a journalist and as a broadcaster, and also the sport. But this is the 25th anniversary of the Rock Island Grand Prix. Definitely one of the bucket list races in North American karting.
Yeah, I don't think there's many others that have been around that long. Maybe the WKA race down in Florida at Christmas time. It might be a little older than us, but other than that, yeah, we've just been hanging in there. We have a great group that gets together every year and gets this done, and we have great success, which keeps the racers coming back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think WK Kartweek's the granddaddy. I have a feeling they may be celebrating 45 years next year. It's a big one, right? It's been going for a long time, but a street race is always tough, Roger, to be able to put that much time in. Street races have come and gone. The streets of Lancaster with Scusa still holding on. Modesto was a one and done. There's a number of street races with the SIRA that have been going for a number of years, but wow. And obviously good to see the Quincy Grand Prix back, but 25 years for Rock Island. It says a lot, I think, about the event itself and how you guys have worked pretty well with the city of Rock Island. It's big, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously you have to have the local support, the city and downtown businesses and things like that. And we try and point out the value that we bring with, bringing thousands of spectators and hundreds of race teams and all that to town. And I think that, that's a big part of it.
Well, simply put, any event, any promoter was going to use the numbers, the economic impact on the city. And, with the 15 years that I spent as the voice of the event, as your announcer, man, every night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, the downtown core, the district, the arts and entertainment district of Rock Island, packed with people. And I spent a lot of money. I know a lot of people spend the money, bars, restaurants, getting into the Ribco concerts, a lot of money injected into that downtown core every Labor Day weekend for the Rock Island Grand Prix.
Yeah, not only the core, but I have to throw out the Jumer's Casino too, because a lot of our racers like to check that out. It's as they say, it's Las Vegas without the flight.
I think I stayed there one time. I think my flight got canceled and I had to stay at Jumer's. Otherwise, I was always right downtown, which was awesome. But you're right. The casino is huge. Over to the Riverboat Casino as well. I was there a couple times. But let's get into the race itself now, folks. I want to throw this out here. As I said before, this is the bucket list race. And anybody who's done Rock Island will tell you, you have to do it at least once. And usually once you've done it once, you're going to come back because it's a unique event. It's got less, I believe there's less stress. There's so much off track and the on track's not quite as stressful. It's a Saturday, Sunday race. You do a little bit of racing now on Saturday, but it used to be just practice on Saturday, qualifying, and then you race on Sunday. It's just got this atmosphere, Roger, and I'm sure that you get that from a lot of the people that keep coming back. It's one of those races you have to do at least once, and if you've done it once, you do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of the magic, there's, I think, two elements to that magic, and number one is it's a one-off race, so nobody's really worried about, they're leading the next competitor or how many points they're going to get or anything like that. The other thing is, just the great organization and the people that we have that put it on. We put out a release recently, sort of identifying all of race officials we're going to have back this year. And we have people there that have been doing this with us for, 15 or 20 years.
No doubt, yeah.
And it's just their attitude and approach that keeps the racing safe and fair, but also, whenever they can, we try and make sure everybody has a good time while they're here.
Well, I think you look at the staff that's been there for so long. Yourself, of course, Roger, you're from when I first went, and I think 1999 was the first year I think I was at the Rock Island Grand Prix. But you look at your staff, and I've raced it many times, a half a dozen times or more as well. And I think one of the keys for what you guys have done as a street race is it's the safest street race out there. You guys, the way that the event is laid out, the way the track's laid out, and your corner workers, man, like. When I was announcing it, I'm sure Tim Coyan does the same thing now. David Cole, we write about it all the time on EKN. When there's an issue in the corner, like out go like a half a dozen corner workers. They spring to action. They're getting that cart off the racetrack or carts. Lots of times it's multiple carts, but drivers are the drivers are up because you've got the barriers, you've got the hay bales. You guys have such a great team, and as a racer myself, every time I sat in the seat and got racing. I knew that if anything happened, the corner workers were going to take care of me. And I think that's because of the consistency you have. It's one of the calling cards of the race. Just such a great staff.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't say enough about them. And, it's just developed over time. Every year they're a little more experienced and some people come and go along the way, but we have a great nucleus that's, been at it for a long time and understands the whole philosophy of what we're trying to do here.
Speaking now with Roger Ruthhart from the Rock Island Grand Prix, the event celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. And he is our guest here on episode number 26 of the Industry Insider. Folks, stick with us. A quick little break, and we come back and time to start talking about the race itself. Let's talk about the new classes that are coming up this year, the classes that Roger expects are going to be the biggest. We'll talk a little bit about pre-entry numbers and a lot more to come here on the EKN Radio Network. You've heard the term bucket list. In karting, it refers to the Rock Island Grand Prix. The world's largest street race for karting will host its 25th edition this coming Labor Day weekend, and you owe it to yourself to be there. The Rock Island Grand Prix lands on the weekend of August 30 and September 1, and everyone in the Mississippi River City is ready to welcome grassroots racers as well as some of the best shifter kart drivers from North America to their home race. A total of 17 race groups are set to tackle the city streets of Rock Island, Illinois over 2 full days of exciting competition. The volunteer-based committee and their passionate crew turns their streets into a racing festival overnight as drivers compete for the coveted Rock Trophy. Categories range from the popular Briggs 206, Margay Ignite, and Yamaha classes to tag, KA100, shifter divisions, and the famed King of the Streets main event. It's the most fun you can have on and off the track. It's the Rock Island Grand Prix. Learn more by visiting rockislandgrandprix.com. And if you're a passionate kart racer, it's time to cross this one off your bucket list. With over 35 years of manufacturing experience, Precision Karting Technologies is the leader in American-made components. We produce high-quality products, led by our full line of chromoly and mild steel axles. Metric or imperial, standard or custom, we have what you need. Collars, keys, bearings, we're the source for axle components in the USA. We're not just axles either. At PKT, we can manufacture motor mounts, hubs, brake rotors, and even GoPro mounts. We're also the choice for axle and chassis straightening. We've designed a dedicated table for the sole purpose of straightening and laser aligning your chassis. If needed, we have the capability to cut, replace, and weld portions of your chassis as well. Big crash bent your frame? Send it to us. Broke a spindle yoke off in a wreck? We can replace it. You don't need to toss that expensive frame in the trash bin. We can fix it. We can repair and straighten chassis, and we CNC machine the finest karting products in the country. With over 70 dealers throughout the US and Canada, it's easy to choose PKT. Family owned and operated, proudly made in the USA. PKT. What's in your cart? Are you in need of a podium-proven Briggs 206 chassis? If you answered yes, check out the 2019 Margay Ignite K3 and Brava 206 packages manufactured in St. Louis, Missouri, right here in the USA. The Margay chassis has been racking up 206 podiums on the club and regional level, most recently at big four-stroke programs such as the AMR Homestead Miami Speedway, Texas Pro Kart Challenge, Texas Sprint Racing Series, Atlanta Motorsports Park, the Quincy Grand Prix, and the Gateway Kartplex. The best part about purchasing a Margay racing chassis is that everything can be ordered custom, including frame color, decal color, and logo placement. Choose to purchase as a roller, kit, or race ready. With a race ready package, just unbox the cart, add gas, oil, and go. Need factory support? Margay Racing is just a call or email away with technical support or setup tips. Interested in renting a kart at one of the biggest karting events this summer? Check out Margay Racing Spec Ignite class and their Arrive and Drive packages to be part of the 25th running of the Rock Island Grand Prix this coming Labor Day weekend. For more information, please visit margay.com or call 800-562-7429 today. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, episode number 26 of the Industry Insider. My name is Rob Howden. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our guest today on the Insider, Roger Ruthhart from the Rock Island Grand Prix, the event celebrating its 25th anniversary. And I'll tell you this, Roger, a couple quick little stories when we get back. First and foremost, of all the races that I've done over 25 years in the sport, essentially now 26, I think. The one conflict that eats at my heart every year is the fact that the Road to Indy and IndyCar elected a number of years ago to put a race on Labor Day weekend. It was initially going to be Baltimore. That fell through. We ended up going to Watkins Glen. And, last year it was moved. We're now in Portland. And it's one of those things every year because I was the voice of the event for so many years. It was something I looked forward to. I loved coming to the event. It's like a family there. We talked about the staff. They're still like family to me, and I don't get a chance to see them, but they're just such amazing people. It's that one event that I don't get to go to anymore because of a conflict with my Road to Indy duties that really eats at me. Yeah. I mean, it hurts. And the problem is Cole still gets to go, which really pisses me off. And race, which pisses me off even more.
Yeah.
Here's the other story, and I tell this quite a bit. And anytime I'm at Road America, because I see my good friend Bob Wilson, who's the father of Bobby Wilson, who of course was the King of the Streets winner. When I was there, I might have been there in '98. I think I potentially was there in 1998 as well, or was it 98 or 99? But I was only there to cover it for the race, for the magazine, Shifter Card Illustrated. And the Rock Island Grand Prix has been such a key editorial stop for us. Shifter Card Illustrated, Supercard Illustrated, eKartingNews.com. I've raced it. I announced for 15 years. Cole's gone there every year since he started working for me. And I want to say this is his 14th year, I think, for Dave, covering the race, right? It was one of the first races that I ever actually got paid to announce. And the funny thing is that I was doing the Shifter Card Illustrated at that point. Well, it wasn't even you. You paid me the next year. Bob Wilson said, hey, listen, will you announce this race? Well, Roger let you announce this race. If you do, I'll give you $100. And I went, what, just to do the shifter classes? He goes, yeah, I just want you to do the shifter classes because you know everybody. It might have been 99 because it was the year of the Pro Moto Tour, the SCUSA Pro Moto Tour. And I went to you and he went to you and you went, yeah, if he wants to announce, have at it. So Wilson gave me a crisp $100 bill. I announced that year. And then you hired me for 15 more years. It was an awesome run. But it's the first race I ever got paid to announce. $100 for Rock Island Grand Prix.
Well, I still remember when Bobby won the King of the Streets that one year, and the whole family was in tears.
They were, yep, no doubt about it. Listen, and that's what it's about. Before we even go to entry numbers, let's just talk about the race and what it means to people. I think that's key, is it not? Because things that stand out in my mind. Obviously Scott Speed came when he was on his way up with the Red Bull program, and he ended up winning. But to see guys like Gary Lawson win so many races, and watching guys, Travis DeVrent, who we lost numerous years ago, him winning races. I remember being at the banquet when Matt Payway won his Rock, right? And it was so emotional for these guys, Connor Lund, these guys that have won races. I wanted to win so badly the first year that you brought out 206 Masters. I'm like, I can do this. I can win 206 Masters. And then damn Tony Nielsen shows up, 31 years old, eligible to run. He and I qualified first and second. I just couldn't. I tried to stay with him as much as I can, but it's Tony Nielsen, for Christ's sakes. He's one of the best drivers, four cycle and Yamaha drivers in the Midwest. So I finished, I think, third or fourth to he and Jasperson, and I believe it was Scott that got me as well. To win the race, Roger, it must mean a lot, I think, to your staff when they understand how much it means to the drivers that come each and every year. Because to win a rock is something. It's one of the most iconic trophies in the sport.
Yeah, I think we see actually several different levels of thrill. There's obviously the people that come who think they can win and want to win, and that's, they'll go home in tears if they don't. There's other people that come and they're winning at Rock Island for them is finishing in the top 10.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that come and just finishing the race is winning for them.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's a place for all of those people here.
Yeah. And that's one of the great things about it, right? Is the fact that I don't care what speed you're at, you're going to be racing with somebody. The nature of the racetrack with all just the 90-degree corners means the draft comes into play. You just got to roll the corner. But you're always racing with somebody. Unless you get in an incident, you drop back. There's always someone to draft with and race with. And you're right. I don't care where you are. There's different expectations and different goals from people. And I think you're right. And that's, one of the interesting things too is you're one of there's not a lot of races anymore that still pay out money, right? And
absolutely.
When you guys get the bigger the class, the more money that gets paid out. And it's always been exciting to get a check. Now, of course, David Cole and I, when we race, if we win money, we give it back to you guys. But there are people that leave with big dollars. Guys have won a ton of money running the Rock Island Grand Prix over the years.
That's true. Yep. And it's really in the hand of the racers. As you said, the bigger the class, the more we pay out.
Now, speaking of big classes, let's overall entry numbers. Where are you pre-entry right now? It's a question I hazard to ask because just the way carters are nowadays, they're always waiting to the absolute last minute. I have no doubt you guys will get a bum rush, in the next couple of weeks. But especially with a couple races coming up this weekend in the Elkhart Riverwalk Grand Prix. And then, of course, the SCUSA Summer Nationals this weekend as well. So I'm sure a lot of people are holding off. But where are you guys entry-wise? Pretty much the same as last couple of years? Or?
Yeah, we're pretty much the same as we've been the last few years. We get a big bump at the beginning because of the support we get from Briggs and Stratton.
Yep.
For people who enter a second class, they can do it for $25. Those entries are limited to 30. So we get a big bump until those run out. And then we usually, from there on, it's, waiting till after Elkhart and the SCUSA race and make sure people haven't bent up their card or broken a rib or something before they enter. So,
and like I always say, with the credit card resets as well, right?
Right, exactly.
They want that cost to go on the next credit card statement.
Yeah, so we're expecting the next 3 weeks will be real big, but we're right now, we're doing fine. We have some classes that we're a little worried about. People will call and say, well, how many entries do you have? Because I'm not going to enter if the class is going to get canceled. Yeah. And then I tell them, if you don't enter, the class is going to get canceled because, that's just, we don't very seldom run classes under 10 entries. So
didn't you tell me last year that last year, like it was a tag class or something like that, you didn't have enough entries and then you cancel it and everybody's calling like, well, I was going to enter.
Yeah.
But it's the catch-22, folks. You have to enter, get entered, tell all your friends, get on social media. And here's my call to action. If you're going to the Rock Island Grand Prix, enter today, do it, get it done, and then post it on social media that you're going, that you just entered, post a link to enter, and then tell everybody you're going. Get people fired up. Let's have everybody going to this race. It's the best race out there. I love it. Roger, what do you expect to be looking at past years, last couple of years? What classes do you expect to be massive?
Well, I think the trend right now is certainly in support of the Briggs and Ignite classes.
Yep.
Those seem to be continuing to grow. I think that the reasonable cost of getting involved in the sport has a big thing to do with that. But it's also great racing, close wheel-to-wheel racing, and I think those classes will certainly be strong again this year. But only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, I have no doubt the Briggs stuff is big. Speaking from experience, having run with the Margay Ignite guys, with Keith Freeber and Craig Dingus and Sean Kennedy and everybody over there at the Battle of the Brickyard event, second to none. Like that Margay Ignite Arrive and Drive program, what an opportunity.
Right.
And Rogers, one of the things I tell wherever I go, California, Northeast, Pacific Northwest, Florida, Texas, I say, if you want to come to the Rock Island Grand Prix and you want to race, you want to cross it off your bucket list, but maybe you don't want to haul the 20-something hours from wherever you are, 30 hours, whatever it may be, but you want to fly in, do it with the Margay Ignite program because it's so easy. Now, there are other teams that can do Arrive and Drives for you, whatever it may be, if you want to run a different category, I'm sure. Right. But if you're a Briggs racer or you want to come and just sample and have some fun, that Margay Ignite program, hands off, guys there to work on your karts. You don't need to make a lot of adjustments. We didn't make a lot of adjustments to mine at the Brickyard, and I was bad fast. I finished 6th. It was fun. But that Margay Ignite program really provides an opportunity for anybody, Canada, North America, around the world, to come and run the event, fly in, get a hotel, and run the Margay Ignite program. Great, awesome competition, and just a great, great formula.
Well, and you talk about the atmosphere of the event. Margay's got this tent with, I don't know, what is it, 25 or 30 karters in there and all the mechanics.
More,
and I mean, that's just a great atmosphere to experience in itself.
Yeah, there were 65 karts under the tent, I believe, at the Battle of the Brickyard at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm sure they'll have huge numbers as well. But this is a great opportunity, folks. I'm telling you, the Margay Ignite program, if you want to come to this race, a great way of doing that. King of the Streets, let's talk about that. Always a fun event for King of the Streets. The crown, the robe. Some badass drivers have been able to win there, and you saw when they win. You go back as far as AJ Whistler and Alan Rudolph, and you just said Scott Speed, Bobby Wilson, Kyle Wiegand won many, many times as well. You're gonna get more guys that are gonna be gunning for that. Josh Lane's obviously the guy that always wants to pull guys out. He's pushing to get 30 guys there. It's kind of cool, Roger. It seems like the King of the Streets kind of starting to pick up momentum again, right? Some pretty good numbers last year. You guys have added, I think, a class so guys can run 2 categories. You brought in the IAME SSE 175cc. You got in with obviously a weight penalty because it's such a monster. But I think King of the Streets will be good again this year.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's been strong the last few years. I think at least from our experience, the shifter karting took a little bit longer to bounce back from the recession than some of the other classes, but at least here in the Midwest. But I think it's going to be good. Josh has done an absolutely wonderful job representing our organization and getting the word out and twisting arms and that. And I'm sure it's going to be some just awesome racing.
Folks, speaking right now with Roger Ruthhart from the Rock Island Grand Prix, the Labor Day Classic. August 31st, September 1st, I believe, Labor Day this weekend, a Saturday, Sunday race. You roll in there on Friday. Once they've closed the streets down, you bring your trailers in, you get set up. They go to town. They get a track set up overnight. So when you roll in there on Saturday morning, you got a driver's meeting, and you're on the racetrack. Trust me, the bucket list race in North American karting. If you haven't done the Rock Island Grand Prix, make sure you do it. It's the one event that my Road to Indy conflicts kill me that I can't be back because I was the voice of the event for 15 years, handing the mic over to Tim Cohen. Of course, David Cole will be there. EKN Trackside Live all weekend long, his coverage, live audio. David, of course, will be racing again this year in the Margay Ignite category. He really wants a rock as well, and I'm going to be pulling for him while I'm out in Portland. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, Roger and I are going to talk a little bit about some new things for this particular event, the 25th anniversary. They're making some minor track adjustments. We'll talk a little bit about the nightlife as well. Stay tuned, folks. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network.
For over a century, Briggs & Stratton has had a commitment and passion for racing. It's a DNA found in every engine we build today. So whether you kart race, Baja, race quarter midgets, or believe that dirt and snow are just God's way of adding to the challenge, the dedicated spirit of every Briggs & Stratton employee stands at the fence waiting for the green flag to drop. Briggs & Stratton Racing. What powers you?
The shift is on to a new brand and a new way of thinking. The Croc promotion has taken American karting by storm, and simply put, we have the best kart on the market. We've won and continue to win national and regional races with a revolving door of drivers. Myers, Bedozo, French, Musgrave. and we're ready to dominate the rest of the 2019 season. We just want to win. That's it. Plain and simple. Our dynamic R&D program is more aggressive than any other manufacturer, and we're the only company focused on building the perfect chassis for American tracks, engines, and tires. Why race a kart made for Europeans? We're testing prototypes for American racing. We're breaking the mold. Croc Promotion is all about supporting dedicated and talented young drivers and winning races. That's Croc Promotion USA. That's Mad Old Nut Racing. We just want to win, plain and simple. No BS. Let us spend our time and money developing the chassis so that you can win. Rotax is officially back in America, and J3 Competition is the iconic brand's new importer and distributor for the northern half of the United States. With a focus on top-notch customer service and unparalleled product support, J3 Competition is excited to work with club and regional series to build the Rotax community in the tag categories. They're promoting a pair of special events this year to provide opportunities for their racers to win tickets to the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in Italy, the sport's most talked about global event. The Stars and Stripes Trophy and the Stars and Stripes Open events will feature J3 Competition's trademark professionalism, as well as the popular engine raffle program to provide a completely level playing field. With tickets to this year's Grand Finals up for grabs, they look forward to seeing everyone at the trophy event in May in Utah and for the Open in August at Pit Race. Rotax is a leader in two-cycle technology, and J3 Competition brings over 75 years of experience to the brand here in the United States. Check out the new Rotax USA program at racerotax.com. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden. Episode number 26 of the Industry Insider. It's Wednesday, August the 7th. We are just pretty much a little over 3 weeks away from the 25th running of the Rock Island Grand Prix. Roger Ruthhart joining me here, good friend of mine who I've known for 20 plus years. Roger, okay, so 25th anniversary. You kind of think, what do we do? You guys are going to make a couple of changes to the racetrack, turn 1, turn 5. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. That's the plan. We're looking forward to seeing what the impact is going to be.
Yeah, I once the track laid out, I'd love to be there when some of the guys were in the corners talking about it, because you know you're going to get positive feedback, probably negative feedback. But you know what was the motivation for the change? Is it to try have a little new experience, or is some of it having to do with potentially, it's a street? Right, these are city streets. They change throughout the year. Is there some areas that you're trying to avoid based on damage to the streets or whatever it may be?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Part of the whole thing too is we've had great support from the city, and I think it's 8 different places on the track that are going to be repaved before this year's race.
Oh, that's awesome.
But in corner 1 there's a bump right on the racing line. We hope it'll be gone, but in case it's not, because like you said, it is a street.
Yep.
We thought this slight deviation would allow racers to avoid the bump, which not only has been hard on equipment and bodies, but also tends to kick you toward the outside barriers.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have a slight deviation to the right and then back left and on down the 2 block straightaway. The same issue comes into play on turn 5, which is, back on the backside of the course. But the racing line goes through a manhole, and then there's a pretty severe crown in the street. So if you hit the manhole and you don't have 4 wheels on the ground and you hit the crown, it also tends to throw you toward the barriers. So by a slight adjustment in the track to avoid the manhole and then come straight on where the crown is in the road, I think that corner will be safer as well.
Interesting. I think I've been in the barriers twice. One at a practice, I got hit from behind running a 125 shifter, and then one I was running, I think, 5th in 125cc Masters on an RBI chassis. the Richie Buxman Special.
Yeah.
And I ran out of talent trying to get past Todd Vandermolen on I think the last lap or second. I think it was the last lap. I think I was trying to go for fifth, and I ran out of talent in turn 5 and ended up, as Sean Burr from Go Racing Magazine said, I booked it into the bales. It was hard. It was a hard hit, but those are my 2 big wrecks. But I like it. A little adjustment. I think it'll be interesting. Of course, David Cole, as I said, will be there, and I'm sure he'll have video on EKN as soon as it rolls out.
Part of the impetus for the whole thing, it goes back to the 25-year thing, and we, as we do in many cases, reached out for the racers to get their input and see if they had any ideas and things that we could do differently or whatever. And there were a lot of them. A lot of it just isn't possible because of what we're dealt to deal with in a street race. But one of the things they suggested was change up the course. So we can't really go further east or further west or toward the river or anything because of the condition of the streets or the fact there's drop-offs and things like that. But this is one way that we thought we could just change up the course a little bit without actually changing up the course a lot. So
was there ever any discussion about running it backwards?
That was a suggestion that was made. And then you get into all kinds of issue. Well, where do we have power? Where do we have to move the start-finish line to? And all these other things that come into play when you're dealing with a temporary circuit.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, that's a thought. Just throw it out there. It would. I don't know. It'd be very interesting, I think. All right, let's. You know what? Let's cap this podcast off and start talking a little bit about the event itself, Roger, because I think one of the cool things about this is, and we're trying to give people that may have not been here before who are listening to the podcast some insight on the race itself. And one of the cool things, as I've said before, the hotel's right there. It's literally a block away from the paddock, right? It's essentially right there. The arts and entertainment district are right there as well.
Yep.
So you're able to stay close to the track, whether you're there or you're at a casino, whatever it may be. It's super close. It's some of it's the nightlife, I think, for me. It's there's so many great restaurants. We tradition run to Huckleberry's at the pizza parlor, the New Mexican place, ridiculously good. That's one of the things I miss about that place as well, because the Mexican place is awesome.
Right.
Just so many great opportunities, but it's the atmosphere. Roger, there's concerts every night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night are right downtown in the arts and entertainment district. Ribco puts on a couple of concerts. There's some great bars. Everybody just goes and has a great time. When you're done racing, you crack a cold one, you get your carts ready, you put them away, grab dinner, and you're out having fun. Friday night, Saturday night, even Sunday night, people are out having a good time.
Yeah, I think that's sort of a hallmark of our event. I remember a number of years ago when the guys from Wildcard in Italy came over.
Yep,
Stefano, and he said, in Europe, when the racing's over, everybody goes in and hides away in their own little tent and has something to eat or whatever. He said, this is so much better where everybody just gets together and parties, at the same time.
Yeah. And I think that was a pretty successful run here for Stefano when they brought the wild card over. I believe Martin Pierce was driving for them. I think he won the tag senior class, which is interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, it's obviously just such a great atmosphere. I think I'd asked you about the bands. I'm not sure. Did you know which bands were playing on the weekend, or did we figure that out?
I don't know a lot about them yet. I know that Thursday night there's a concert in the big park that's on the riverfront. That's a local band called Wicked Liz and the Belly Swirls. It's put on by the Park District.
I love it.
And then Friday night is Alex Williams at Ribco. I think that's a country band. And Saturday is a band called Crust, which I've heard of, but I don't know a lot about them.
Just the cool thing, like we said, that just there's a lot of entertainment. You can have you have your food. For some reason, we always end up at the Old Time Tap as well. I don't know why, but I'm gravitated to that little pub. Yep. It's fantastic, right? A little hole in the wall, but we always have a great time there as well. So, Roger, here's the thing: 25 years. What's the future look like? We did the interview with you that we posted a while back to kind of start off our preview coverage of this year's Rock Island. What's the future looking like? You guys, a lot of your staff's been around a long time. Talk a little bit about maybe how you see this race moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We've sort of taken advantage of the 25th year as an opportunity to look both back and forward. Yeah. As you said, there's a lot of us that have been involved for 20 or more years, and we were young when we started, and now, I mean, speaking for myself, I'm 69 this year. So,
wow.
And there's a lot of other people that are in their 60s or even 70 who are key elements of our race. So we're looking at the whole thing. We're trying to figure out a way that we can make sure this moves forward, but with not relying so much on each individual person to carry such a large load.
Understood.
I mean, if I went away tomorrow, you could probably peel off about 8 tasks to 8 different people and still get the work done. So that's kind of the thing that we're looking at. We're looking for partners. We're talking about options to that will have people come in and help with setup. One thing that I think a lot of racers don't really understand is what a huge job it is to set up a track and take it down in 6 hours.
Let's say that the city goes hot in the morning, right? It's like we're done, and they open those streets back up. Like when you wake up Monday morning and you got the post-race hangover, people are already driving on the streets.
Exactly.
It's really weird. So it's Labor Day. It's Monday, Labor Day. There's not a lot of people out there because a lot of stuff's closed. But man, it's to see the fact you wake up in the morning, you come out and that track is gone. Is kind of surreal to me.
Yeah, right? And it takes us about 200 people to do that. So,
amazing.
And sure, there's groups that come back every year, but every year there's some that don't, and you have to replace them and retrain people and everything else. So, I think that's one thing that's what we're up to our elbows in right now is just figuring out how we're going to get, who's going to do what and how we're going to get everything set up this year. And the other big part, I think, is that maybe the racers appreciate a little bit more is the fact that this is their opportunity to race in front of thousands of people.
Very true.
You go to the kart track and race on the weekend, and your mom and dad and girlfriend are there, and that's great. But this is the race that people have family reunions at. They bring their sponsors to. There's race fans from all over the Midwest that come to watch. It's just a really different atmosphere, I think, for except for the very high level kart races in like SCUSA and that.
I can't remember which year it was. It was the year I ran with Brian McCaddy for DB Motorsports in the 206 senior category, and we were the first class, rolling out after we did opening ceremonies, and you open the track up to allow kids and families to come out for the autograph session at the very start. That was super cool, just to be able to meet some of the racers who were out there, signing autographs, talking to them about the sport itself.
Right.
I love that. I just the amount of fans there, and they're knowledgeable fans, like you say, Roger. They come back every year. They know the names, right? They know who the stars are. They're rooting for certain drivers because they've watched them race year after year. It's an awesome annual event like that.
Yeah, and the whole downtown is wired for sound. So whether it's Rob Howden or Tim Coyne or whoever it is, I mean, they're hearing what's going on the racetrack, and hearing the names and over, and they know who the local drivers are. They know that the guys in King of the Streets are the ones that are going to go the fastest and things like that. So every race is a little bit different and has a nuance. And I think, like you said, the fans are knowledgeable enough that they understand all that.
And one thing to remind folks, it is rain or shine. So if it rains, we're racing. I got a chance to race in the rain there one year in a 125 shifter. It was awesome. The thing about the crown of the road, you talked about that, Roger. When it rains, it's so wild. You have to change your line a little bit because you're going over the crown. If you get on the throttle on the crown over the crown, it wants to spin around on you. Rain or shine, people are going to be out there having a good time. And again, 25th anniversary, Roger. First and foremost, or last and foremost, congratulations on that. 25 years for the race itself and for you and your entire staff. The amount of time you guys have put in to put this race on each and every year. I want to thank you on behalf of the entire karting community because the Rock Island Grand Prix, obviously one of the jewels of our sport.
Well, I mean, we couldn't have done it without the support of the racers, the support of our sponsors, many of which have been with us for a lot of years. People like yourself and David and, Briggs and Stratton, Margay, people like that just, really have become great partners in putting on this event.
Indeed. Roger, thank you so much for joining me, man. I appreciate it. Again, Labor Day Classic, the Rock Island Grand Prix coming up 3 weeks away. If you haven't entered, do it. If you've never been there, trust me, go to the Rock Island Grand Prix. It's a bucket list race. One of the coolest races on and off the racetrack. I've said that so many times. Just a great race to go to. Roger, thank you so much, bud. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, Rob. Good to talk to you.
Folks, that is Roger Ruthhart from the Rock Island Grand Prix again. What is it? August the 31st, September 1st, the event that you need to go to. Trust me, Labor Day weekend, it's just such an awesome time. David Cole's going to be there. eKartingNews.com, of course, on our Trackside Live tour for 2019. That tour presented by Cooper Tires. David will be live. Tim Coyan on the microphone. Full coverage all weekend long. Live play-by-play, of course, on our website, eKartingNews.com/live. David Cole also getting behind the wheel. He did get beat by Rob Howden at the Battle of the Brickyard, so he's nursing that sore still. But he's going to be back with the good folks at the Margay Ignite program. He wants the rock, and David, as always, very, very quick at the Rock Island Grand Prix. He has led laps before there in Yamaha. He's led laps in the Ignite category. Looking forward to seeing if Dave can close it out this year and potentially take a rock of his own. You should go try to get one as well, folks. Trust me, it's an unbelievable race. The Rock Island Grand Prix celebrating its 25th year this season. Again, the Labor Day Classic. Make sure you head to it. But this has been the Industry Insider, episode number 26. Thank you to Roger Ruthhart for joining me. Folks, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.